Think about human psychology. When you walk into a store, what is the first thing you say?
Oh, no, I'm just looking.
It's the canned response.
Right.
So that's how, like, imagine that on a phone call where it's like if you get that face to face, if a retail person gets that face to face, imagine you as a real estate agent on a phone call, somebody you don't know, they say they're just looking. Of course they're just looking. It's the canned response. It's the most common response you'll hear from 95% of prospects. We're just kind of browsing. Like we're
looking for a good deal. We are live. I wonder if we can get threads on StreamYard.
That would be really interesting. That's that's a really interesting platform so far. They were the quickest social media platform to hit, I think, over I forget, millions and millions of users, which is crazy. So fastest. I think they had I read an article the other day. They had over 1 million subscribers within an hour. The rollout was really good.
Gary Vee went online and said everybody needs to join it, and all of a sudden it just blew up. Mm-hmm. And it's also backed by some pretty deep pockets.
Yeah, have you heard of this company called Facebook?
I have only heard of Meta.
Okay, well, I guess.
I'm not quite familiar with this Facebook thing, but
what is this Facebook thing you're talking about? But yeah, no, really crazy.
It's actually what we're on right now. We're on Facebook, 2, 3 Facebook groups, 5 Facebook groups, LinkedIn, and YouTube Live. So let's jump into it. So we got about 11 minutes here today. Cody and I, for those of you who don't know, Cody's a good friend of mine, and he runs Sheridan Street, which is a marketing agency for real estate agents, and I run the Real Estate Sales Academy. So between Cody and I, we can either help you with your lead problem or with your conversion problem. I would say most people start out with a conversion problem, not a lead problem, right? But we think that we're needing to fill the hole with more leads. And if you're talking to people now and you're not booking appointments, what needs to change in your world so that the people you talk to, right, when you give Cody money and he starts going out and running lead campaigns for you, what needs to change so that the people you're talking to get onto your calendar, book an appointment, and then the people that are on your calendar, you can convert into a client, and it's the skills, right? So Cody runs agency, I run sales, Real Estate Sales Academy. Cody, what are you noticing from the people you're surveying about the objections they're getting in today's market?
There's so many objections right now. The biggest one is the elephant in the room is interest rates. That's the biggest objection that people are getting. And, the common objections I'm just kind of browsing right now. I might do something within a year and a half, 2 years. Everyone's just, everyone's thinking about making a move. A lot of people are out there with...
As a real estate agent, I actually know that people aren't browsing, because I've spoken to the same people in 2012 and 2013 and 2015 and 2018. It's the same thing. People are always just browsing. I'm looking for a great deal, right? They give you knee-jerk reactions because there's something that you're saying, or the way you're saying it or the way you're asking questions is triggering a knee-jerk reaction response from your prospect.
And I've seen it firsthand. When I was working in corporate, and specifically in the retail landscape, and we were doing a lot of sales with Best Buy. Just think about human psychology. When you walk into a store, what is the first thing you say? Even if you're there to
just looking,
buy something, just looking.
No, I'm just looking.
It's the canned response,
right?
So that's how. Imagine that on a phone call, where it's if you get that face to face, if a retail person gets that face to face, imagine you as a real estate agent on a phone call, somebody you don't know, they say they're just looking. Of course they're just looking. It's the canned response. It's the most common response you'll hear from 95% of prospects. We're just kind of browsing. We're
looking for a good deal.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. So when people say things like we're just browsing, right? So there's the top of the funnel, or the top of the sales structure, and then there's the bottom. A lot of people think that the problem starts at the bottom, right? Oh, well, I'm getting a bunch of objections that They're not in a rush to buy. They're waiting for the market. They're checking out interest rates. They want to see what happens with the election, right? They want to see what happens with the economy. All of those questions or objections that you're getting at the bottom is because your discovery ability on the top wasn't there. Your ability to get the prospect to open up and share why they're moving, right? It wasn't there. Now, let's say you have a buyer, right? You have a buyer and they reached out to you from an ad you're running online, or they came into your open house and you're following up with them, right? And most people say, well, hey, thanks for coming into my open house. It was great having you, right? The minute you say, it was so great having you, or thanks for coming in, you're dropping your status. The prospect should thank you for holding the property open, because you're doing them a favor to let them see. We have it flipped. So we've automatically dropped our power frame. Then we go into the question, what, I guess, I don't even know what the typical agent says, but they're going to say something like, yeah, so what was your timeline to be into a new home? That's a super sales question. That just put the prospect guard really high. And then when people are like, here's what I hear a lot, Cody, in calls that I review for my clients, is the person will say something like, oh, we're not in a rush. We're waiting for the interest rates to come down.
Yeah.
And what we were taught is to agree with the prospect. So I hear it in our clients' calls is like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. We have a lot of people waiting for interest rates in the market. Well, you just validated their concern that they should be waiting. And then you said a lot of people are also doing the same thing. So they're like, oh, I'm in good company.
Yeah.
Well, if you would say something like, oh yeah, that's not a problem. A lot of people, when they come to us, right, they're in the similar boat. But I guess, what made you come into the open house at 123 Main Street the other day? What was it about the ad online that made you want to come into the open house?
And so a way that, because I hear this consistently from a call perspective. I think, and I was chatting with a bunch of agents from a team the other day, and I said, and I said to them, you need to understand the context of of how they view interest rates. So if they I think context and curiosity, and I know you talk a lot about that with your clients, and I specifically hear it when I listen to your clients' calls. It's really interesting to be able to understand the context in which they view the world, in which they view the interest rates. How are you tracking the market? Yeah. That simple, what we call a reposition question, can allow them to open up their mind to the hypotheticals of, maybe I don't quite understand interest rates, because I think a lot of people, they read a lot of us, if we're not an industry expert, we're headline read. Yep. So how can you help them through repositioning questions in order to get them to understand the market in the way that you see the market? I think it's a really powerful tool. I call it a reposition question. Yeah. So if you can reposition,
you're helping them reframe.
Yeah.
And you can reframe it, or you can just ask oh, interest rates are really high. Oh, okay. There's a few different routes to go down. There's a few different questions you can ask. Now, again, remember, you guys, if I say to you, Cody, come here right now. Cody, what do you think happened?
You scared the shit out of me there, because I wasn't expecting you to scream at me.
And if you hear that from your mother, what do you know is following that line of question?
I'm gonna
somebody gonna get hurt real bad. Somebody, I don't know who, but somebody. Right now, if your mom calls your name and she's like, Cody, I'm like, Cody, come here real quick. What's your take on that?
The how you just said it, the tone.
Yeah,
when you said it, it was more of something bad is happening.
Yeah, oh my God, you're running down the stairs to help mom. Yeah. Holy shit, what the hell just happened? You're running down the stairs to help mom, right? We know, and what a lot of sales is missing is that our tone, right? The way we deliver, right? And this is why these basic trainings are great for concept, but to actually implement it takes months.
Because it's a lifetime.
Yeah, I
wrote this on Threads the other day. I'm like, people underestimate how good you have to be in order, and how much practice goes into converting an online lead to a client. They underestimate it, because I think that in the space in which we're in, kind of in the marketing agency space, like we understand that like if I talk to 10 people, for me to like cold people, for me to close 2 is really, really, really good. It's just, I think we have a warped sense of how good you need to be. Like if you're closing 50% of cold traffic, you are really, really, really good, like extremely good. And I think we just don't understand the metrics because we don't track things. Like we for the most part aren't tracking like the conversations that we have. Like we're just,
well, here's the other thing is people don't track the objections they're getting.
Well, 100%.
Like if you were to go in there and track your objections, and I know we got to wrap up here, so I want to give a little bit of practical, but if you were to go in there and track the objections you get, right, just write them down on a sheet of paper, and every time you get it, just put a check mark, ding, ding, ding. You don't got to make it complicated, right? Like it doesn't got to be a special, literally you can just, the objections that you get, write them down on the call, and then just put a tick mark by them. And then when that date's done, you just put a line, put another date, and just tick, 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 tick.
It's so funny that you say that because like every agent should do that. I think that's a genius, Nick. Because
we review calls, and I see in my, like on Monday when we do our sales training call, and we do like our call review and our role playing in the sales academy. If I know you're getting the same 5 objections, I can look at your sales structure, right? I can look at your sales structure and be like, okay, here's something that I could see is causing this. But let me hear you deliver it, because the way you say it is going to actually be a lot more impactful than sometimes the words that are coming out of your mouth. And I listened to the way she was delivering it. I was like, oh,
that makes sense. This is why I'm making this objection.
Pause, let's replay it. And
100%. And this is where the framework comes in. Like the framework is one thing, but how to deliver the framework is another thing. It's like, like let's wrap up with this. Let's put it in perspective. A actor can have a script. One person, the actor has to have a script. And they have to memorize their line. There's a reason why certain people play certain parts. So there's a reason why actors get drafted into roles is because they can deliver the script better than me. Like, in certain circumstances, Matthew McConaughey might be better than Ryan Gosling delivering that specific script. So I want to close out with that. I just want to close out with like, allowing yourself to open up your mind to think about what are the objections you're getting, writing them down, like Vic said. I think that could be absolutely massive. We do that with our call center. Our call center has an FAQ specifically designed for the objections that we're getting, wrong number, the interest rates. Like we are able to overcome these objections and able to send you live appointments. We're already doing it on the front end. You need to work on doing it on the back end. Well, so I would encourage anyone that is wants to get serious about doing online lead generation or doing any type of lead generation to reach out to you, Vic, because I think it's a genius idea to write down the objections and then to practice and role play how to overcome those objections. You'll make a lot more money that way.
Yeah, and I have a cheat sheet that I work with our clients, and on the cheat sheet, it's like, I'm not interested. I'm not sure if I really need that. No, we're good. Not looking to change anything right now. I already have someone in mind to work with. I want to wait for the market. I want to see what happens with interest rates. We're not in a rush. Send us some stuff. So we need to interview other agents. It's not a good time to buy. I don't want to compete for a home. We will see if something happens first. Are you the neighborhood expert? Have you listed? We're waiting for the market to improve. Like, these are just the objections that our clients are getting that I just write every time they give me a new objection. I just put it down. I'm like, cool, like, let's work on this. Your price is too low. Imagine like these 80, 90 objections that are common in our space for buyers, sellers, investors. Imagine if you knew exactly what to say for each one of those, how much more successful you'd be. Anyways, you guys, wait, hold on. Cody, we got to plug our, we're running a 5-day challenge. What day?
July 24th. We're starting July 24th.
Okay.
Simply comment the word challenge below.
Challenge.
And, we'll reach out with next steps. It's free 5-day lead-in conversion challenge. We're going to walk you through how to set up profitable ads. We're going to walk you through how to generate leads. We're going to walk you through how to convert those leads to clients, what to say, how to say it, tonality, cadence. You're going to spend 5 days in a Facebook group with Vikram and I. You really don't want to miss this opportunity. Comment challenge below. See you guys.